Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't look at the source of inspiration only at the sources that I agree with, because my goal is to learn, is not to have a little bit of intellectual masturbation by reading only what I agree with. So when I see sometimes someone that I dislike for whatever reasons, or I disconsider, or that person disconsidered himself for certain kind of reasons, if that person says something intelligent or helpful, I don't care. I will incorporate it in my behavior if it's a positive thing. So what I'm trying to say is, let's say you have President Obama, former President Obama, who was a very shallow guy in my assessment, and he says something deep, I will get that and I say, yeah, that's a good one, good job. I don't care. But if I have someone who, let's say, I admire and says something stupid, I will say that's something stupid. In this case, I have this president of Brazil, Lula da Silva, which I read his biography, he's a communist. No. Just read the biography of Lula da Silva, and you're going to find left, Fidel, communism, Cuba, down the boom. Okay? Now, tell me the people that you hang out with, or and I will tell you what kind of person you are, or the people that you admire, or your friends. And not only that, look at his policies are, the ones with nationalization, providing, equity and all that. So it's not my favorite, but when he does something that I think is a good thing for the globe, for the world, or at least if I think that he's doing something good for his country, I applaud it, even if I really don't enjoy the guy. So let's see what he did. Now, Mr. Lula da Silva, if you remember, he went to the United States of America and visited Biden a few weeks ago. And these two Iranian warships that now are allowed to dock in Rio de Janeiro, now they are going to dock, but Lula da Silva, postponed this. He said, well, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C., to the White House, so I don't want to have any, problems over there with idiots, the people from the so-called free mass media creating problems, so I'm going to go over there. And he said, well, those Iranian warships, I don't know yet if you're going to be allowed to dock. Well, look at him. Communist, not communist, Brazil allows two Iranian warships to dock in Rio despite U.S. pressure. Now, why do I say this is a good thing? For exactly this reason. For another country trying to put pressure on an independent sovereign country, which is Brazil. That's why I think this country, Brazil, can do what the hell it wants to do despite another country's pressure. I don't hear Brazil putting any pressure on the United States of America, not because the United States of America is perfect and somebody cannot say anything. No, because the United States will kick you in the butt if you do something else. All right, so this is from February 27, 2023. Rio de Janeiro. Two Iranian warships docked in Rio de Janeiro on Sunday after Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva's government granted permission despite pressure from the United States to bar them. So another country tells another country, both supposedly independent and sovereign, hey, you gotta bar the other independent countries. What? Yes, that's the so-called rule-based world order that the United States cries about. And when you hear international community, think about this. This country, putting pressure on another country to bar another country from doing whatever they want. Well, the United States, again, missed the boat, and missed the boat because of their ideology and thinking that they are where they probably used to be. No, they're not there. There's not 1991 anymore. Sorry to break the news. It's not 1992, not 1993. There are countries who got back on their feet, and some of them just got bigger and bigger. Mind you, Russia and China. And these countries created a coalition to oppose all these kind of pressures. And people who think that, well, they put pressure. Why should they be entitled to put pressure? And the answer could be only one: because they are bad. And because the ones that put pressure are the good forces. That's the only reason. There's no other argument that people can give you saying, well, why would the United States think that they should have the right to put pressure on another country to do whatever it wants with another country? Unless you think that country is doing something bad and the other country is another bad one. And I must be good by default. Why am I saying that by default? Because it was determined or self-determined. It was not determined by other countries. It was determined by them. We are good and you are bad. Well, how do you determine you're good? By acts. Not by this. I can talk a lot. You're the most beautiful, beautiful. Which one is the reality? You're beautiful or I think that So that's why behavior is more than you're beautiful. No. The same here. So if you want to look at history, you're going to find that this country that self-assigned itself, ascribed itself, proclaimed itself as being the country of good, is not really the country of good. But, it's good and bad, as I always say. But what bothers me is people take it by default that they are somehow entitled to tell everybody what to do. Why? Why again? The only reason is this: because I got this bigger than yours. That's the only reason. Not because I have Don't get me wrong, I love the US Constitution. The problem is they don't apply it with everybody else. And not even here they try to destroy it. If they would apply the US Constitution and all these, liberties and freedoms in the relationship with other countries, it would be a different point. But no, they are the enemies and they're bad, which is okay. Every country is, by itself. So I understand the United States puts pressure, but don't call yourself good. You do it because you're of your own interest. Okay, I accept that, no problem. But the other country has the same right to say, get out. And that's exactly what the communists did. Even if you whined him, gave him ladies of the night when he came to the White House, had Jill Biden come and give him a smooch, as she gave the Kamala Harris's husband, remember? So anyway, let's see what else these weasels are saying. The IRIS Macron and the IRIS Dana warships both arrived on Sunday morning, Rio's port authority said in a statement. Yeah, the Americans are upset that these guys, the warships from Iran, come in their neighborhood. Not even in their neighborhood if you look at it. It's South America after all. But hey, that's their backyard. Remember the Monroe Doctrine? That's our backyard. Back off. But the Americans have warships in the Gulf area, don't they? What's that? The Strait of Hormuz and whatever else they have in the Red Sea and in the area over there. Just put it straight. And they cry that these guys are coming too close to Brazil. Just look over the map and see where the Brazil is. Remember, if these guys would have come to Cuba, then would be probably nuked right there. The forces of good. Reuters earlier this month reported that Brazil has bowed to the US pressure and declined Iran's request for the vessels to dock in Rio de Janeiro in late January. Yes, they said come. They came. They said, well, you know what? We don't bar you, but come later. We're going to let you come later. And the answer says, yeah, okay. Then no, we're going to put pressure. Well, it didn't work. A gesture from Lula as he flew to Washington to meet U.S. President Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden. However, with Lula's trip over, the ships have been allowed to dock. Vice Admiral Carlos Eduardo Horta Arenz, the Deputy Chief of Brazil's Naval Staff, gave his approval for the ship to dock in Rio between February 26 and March 4th, according to February 23 notice in the official Gazette. I don't see this Vice Admiral ending very well. Probably it's going to be dismissed if Lula bends over Red Rovers. The U.S. Embassy in Brasilia did not immediately respond to a request for comment. They're still all drunk and angry. Okay, the Brazilian Navy authorizes a foreign vessel to dock in Brazil, but only after authorization from the Foreign Ministry, which takes into account the requesting embassy's petition and logistics. The presence of the Iranian warship on Brazilian shores continues to irk the United States as it seeks to build closer ties with Lula's administration. We came into office, because this is BS right here, this little sentence. This is BS. All right, yeah, we want to get closer to you, but you do whatever I tell you, basically. No, how about you let me be independent? No, you have to be my subordinate, and then we are closer. In February 15th, in a February 15 press conference, the U.S. Ambassador Elizabeth Bagley urged Brazil not to allow the ship to dock. How about if Brazil urged the United States to get its military infrastructure from Poland, Romania, Czech Republic, Germany, Japan, South Korea, How about that? People would think that Brazil is crazy. But why all this is taken seriously? Because it's meant to be taken seriously. And I'm quoting, in the past, those ships facilitated illegal trade and terrorist activities. Really? Illegal trade? How many troops you got in Syria taking Syrian oil from the northeast of the country and selling it, may I say? And then terrorist activities. Oh my God, terrorist activities. Let me think of one. Were some terrorists killed by CIA drones in a sovereign country of Afghanistan? And they used the drones from Pakistan? How do you call that? Oh, no. Those guys we say those guys were terrorists. Who determined that? We did. It's confidential. They were terrorists. They killed. Okay? End of story. All right. That's the way it works. And have also been sanctioned by the United States. So, United States, what the United States have to do with Brazil? I think that Brazil is a sovereign nation. But, no, it's a sovereign nation or if it is not a sovereign nation. It's like someone asks you, when you ask someone something and he said yes or no, but usually if he says yes, there's no buts after that because the but will contradict the yes. Are you a good person? Yes, but no. Are you or not? Did you commit the rape? Were you involved in that? No, but no. That's it. The end of story. The same here. You're a sovereign country, but I have the right to tell you what to do. Basically, that's what's going to be probably in the next little sentence. Brazil is a sovereign nation. That should have been a dot right here. That's it. But we firmly believe those ships should not dock anywhere. Okay, well, good. That's your opinion. Move on. Diplomacy with Iran was one of the highlights of the Lula's attempts to bolster Brazil's international standing during the previous presidential terms. He traveled to Tehran to meet then-President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. I listened to this guy in so many interviews, so many lectures, but interviews with the Americans and British weasel reporters. This is a very, very intelligent, he's doctor, I think he's in engineering or something, but civil engineering, I think. He's a professor, but doesn't matter. I'm just saying, this guy, I enjoyed his intelligence and his logic. Well, arrest me for that, but I'm telling you, and his answers to the rude interviewers. The interviewers, if they want to ask, questions and be direct is one thing, but being rude and interrupting people from stating their answer and implying that the president is lying, and it was awful. But hey, that's what it is when you're on the payroll of other entities. And he sought to broker a nuclear deal between Iran and the United States. Well, that's what it is. But what can I say, my friends? I'm surprised that Brazil, I'm not surprised. I was disappointed when I heard that Brazil postponed that with Iranian ships. I said, are you independent or what? You go to bend your knee to Washington, D.C.? Bend the knee, Washington, D.C.? I hope not, because Brazil is part of BRICS, the emerging economies. Brazil, India, China, South Africa, Russia, and not only. So this guy being a communist, I don't think he's very fond of the United States of America, because in his brain, the United States of America and capitalism is at the root cause of everything that's on this planet, evil and all that. So I really don't know why he went over there. That was the first thing. Probably because he says, you know what, keep your friends close, but your enemy closer. Who knows? Maybe he tried to get in a fist fight with the 80-year-old shuffling madness. What's his name? Biden. 76, I think, is Lula, and the other guy is 80. Anyway, adults fighting. All right. Well, I'm. That's why I'm glad when I see bowls, even if it comes from a communist, that I call him communist. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.